Hello, everybody. Joe Bagadons here. Welcome back for another episode of Mahoyo. Hopefully my computer doesn't crash this time during my intro. That was odd. I was recording, and about a minute and a half in, I'm like, weird. Like the little leaf thing ain't spinning. That's odd. I go to look at OBS. I'm like, huh, it says it's recording, but the timer isn't going up at all. I try to wiggle my mouse. Nothing. It's like, oops. Like, it hard crashed. Like, Alt F4, nothing. Control Alt Delete, nothing. Couldn't even open Task Manager. I had to go and, like, just hold down the power button like I'm fucking holding a pillow over someone's face and snuffing them out. And then my computer updated Windows, so maybe that had something to do with it. It was trying to update in the background, and it just said no. Didn't like whatever was happening. So now here we are. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that doesn't happen again. Anyway, what happened last time? People are magically dying. It's a magic murder mystery. How fun. Wonderful. Fantastic. And the murderer doesn't even know they're murderer. Extra fun. I'm bad at these things because I'm not very smart, as you probably noticed last time when I was doing my, witness analysis, and I had to figure out whose story didn't add up, and I just kind of was going off the cuff like, eh. It's gonna be fine either way. You know, it's a silly little side story, so don't gotta try too hard. I don't think I'm gonna get any bad ends unless I, purposefully choose all the stupid options, which I wouldn't put it past me to accidentally do that, but I'm not gonna purposely try to do that. So I'm not gonna leave us on the dialogue options for 15 minutes as I go back and reread everyone's dialogue and make a fucking a cork board with thread and find out where everyone was and yada yada yada, who was with who, what motives, what time. Just, we're gonna go off the cuff, as I always do. Anyway, what's been going on in my life? I spent all yesterday cleaning my house. Do a little early spring cleaning because it was getting a little cluttered. Not super dirty. Just I have a problem that I just stack things instead of actually putting them away in their proper places. I'll just have a cardboard box pile in the corner that's really tall. Not full on hoarder, because I hate actually dirty stuff. Just my computer desk. It's I know where everything is, but I have a pyramid of books and miscellaneous garbage. That's all gone now. And now I have a nice lovely little blue candle going on my desk, and I'm probably gonna forget about it, and it'll catch the curtain and burn down my house. We can only hope. I also washed all my bedding, which this might sound weird or gross. I don't know. It's winter, so I'm not sweating a bunch of my sleep, so I haven't washed it in a bit. But then I washed it and put it on, and I'm I was having trouble going to sleep. It smells clean and fresh, but it's one of those things where it's yeah, but it doesn't have my scent anymore. It's not what I'm used to from my bedding. It's when you come home after a long trip for the first time and you walk in and your house just smells my house smell. Or you take a shit in your toilet for the first time after being away for weeks and it's just things are as they should be. It's this, it's like sleeping in a hotel or something. It's yeah, this is a good bed, but is it really my bed? Those were my deep philosophical concerns yesterday afternoon as I was drifting off to sleep. Besides, someone down my street was fucking, I don't know, they got in a fight with a girlfriend or something, and they were screaming at each other in the parking lot of their apartment building, which is around the block, but I could hear it. I thought it was a dog, like a big big dog that does the oh kind of barks, but it was just the guy wailing. I kept my ear open for blood curdling murder screams, but I guess I heard a car door slam and then someone drove off. And that was the end of it. Fantastic. Stay classy. I have no segue. Moving on. Story time. Not my story time. The time for the actual story that you're all here for. That made 4 victims. Everyone seemed resigned to locking ourselves in our rooms for the night. Decision N! Sounds dangerous. If everyone's alone, then you can easily be picked off one by one. I think it's too dangerous to hole up in our rooms. The reason being... Oh god. extra person fucking mystery murderer running around. How the phone line was cut. Because there's a 13th person. We don't really have evidence for a 13th person. Well, there is. Toko's skulking about. But I don't know if this option is just available because we've met her, or this is just like an off-the-cuff. You know, like, there must be someone else. But also, how and when was the phone line cut? Thought it was best to tackle the problem now.
それじゃあ各自自分の部屋に。ちょっと待って。その前に確かめたいことがある。みんな、今日のゲストは何人か。
何人かって、クオンジ入れて13人だろ。それがどうかしたか？
それはリデルを入れての話。
何？
Tsukiji's eyes went wide. He was acquainted with Riddle, so her being here hadn't felt out of place to him. But to someone like me who didn't know her, she stuck out like a sore thumb. She had crashed the party without a formal invitation.
そうか。リデルは招かれていない。ゲストとは数えないから。最初。
どういうことか説明してくれる？クオンジさん。
そうね。私もうっかりしていたわ。招待状は私と青子、しずきくんで分けて出したの。最終的に9枚消費したとしか私は聞いていなかったから。私とトッキーはホストで、青子としずきくんは知っていたから。
Okay.
合わせて13人だって。ちなみに私はリツカさんとベオに招待状を送ったわ。
Oh, you forgot a space there. Ritsukand. Sounds like a fucking Star Trek character.
私はエイリとユイカさん、木の実と飛び丸。
自分はクマリと最後に余ったのを先生と
Leftover
とても名前を
invitations.
口にできない人に1枚。
Yeah.
なるほど、数は合っているわね。ところで宗十郎、叱られる前に白状した方がいいわよ。もうなんとなく分かったけど、一体誰に招待状を送りやがったの？
I feel like maybe we should just whisper to Alice.
いや、だって仲間外れは良くないじゃないか。
トウコね、トウコ、呼びつけたのはあんただったのね。
Asaki grabbed Suzuki by his collar and shook him violently, like a bobblehead.
2人、リデルが2人。
トウコさんに招待状を送った。しかし、彼女は今、三崎町には立ち入れないはずですが。
She did some magic. Don't think too hard.
呪いならトウコさん、とっくにクリアしたって言ってたよ。発想の転換だとか言って。なんでも肉体にかかった呪いが解けないなら、その肉体を使わなければいい。
Brain transfer into a doll.
どんな理屈よそれ。相変わらずネジ飛んでるわね、姉貴。
ともかくトウコさんに招待状が送られてしまった以上。
そう、そこで思い出してほしいのが電話線がなくなってた時の玄関。
Okay, I guess for the convenience of the story, we're just gonna ignore that we met Toko earlier. Just pretend that didn't happen.
玄関の床には水滴がついていた。
Oh, I just thought that's because it was raining really hard.
私たちは雨が降り出してから一度も外に出ていない。
Oh yeah, but it does look like it's been tracked inside, like someone was walking, so.
だから事件の直前にやってきたリデルの足跡かと思ってたけど、彼女全く雨に濡れていなかった。つまり
あの雨の後はリデルさん以外の何者かが洋館に入ってきたという証拠という。あの時玄関には時津さんと山城先生以外のみんながいたから。
姿のない参加者。
Cool. So there's really 14 people.
13人目のゲストがいるということです
Well,
ね。
if we include Riddle. This changed everything. I'd never heard that Aoko had an older sister, but now wasn't the time to ask about that. The tension in the air was enough to tell me that there was bad blood between her and the people here.
青崎東子ですか。彼女なら確かにプロイに精通し、クオンジの屋敷の見取りも把握しています。
Cool, fucking Nemesis is stalking the halls.
何より私たち、特に青子さんに強力な殺意がある。今まで見えてこなかった動機の面でも最有力候補ですね。
ですね。東子さんが犯人だとしたら、部屋に閉じこもるのは得策ではありません。何をやっても力ずくで侵入してくるでしょう。
うん。トコちゃんならやるわ。
Yeah.
なんかホラー大好きだもの。ここに来て展開がホラーになるのは残念だけ
Turn
ど、
into a slasher
まず
fic.
は安全を確保しないとね。
皆さん、手分けして洋館内を調査しましょう。東子さんがいるのかいないのか。そこ。
ああ、うん、そうよね。じゃあ私は自分の部屋周辺を調べるわ。
Odd reaction?
私は西館と念のため地下室に。くまりさんたちは危険だからここで待っていて。
With that, they left the drawing room on a mission, leaving me, Tsukiji, Suzuki. I want to say Shizuki, but I know it's how I've been saying it this entire time. My brain knows what it's supposed to be, but the words are different on the screen. It's like reading a teleprompter. You just kind of go with it. Suzuki and Ritsuka behind. Time passed by slowly. My eyelids began to feel heavy from anxiety and exhaustion. The clock struck midnight.
紅茶でも入れてくるか。宗次郎、お茶はどこで？
それならサンルームのテーブルにまだ温かいポットがあるよ。
よし、取ってくる。
Yeah, just go microwave it, warm it up. Probably wanted to get his mind off things. Tsukiji strode off towards the sunroom. Another blackout.
参ったな。これじゃ何も見え。
There was a dazzling flash of light. Through the window in the sunroom, I could see lightning.
築地くん、下がって早く。
なんだ今の。誰かいたぞ。
Yeah, it looked like Bayo.
3人ともこっち。ホールに移動しましょう。
Ritsuka grabbed my hand and pulled me away from the pitch-black drawing room. Definitely saw the outline of a person against the lightning. Someone was outside in the raging storm. Could only be the 13th guest. We fled to the hall. Wall lamps here appeared to be on a separate wiring, so at least it wasn't completely dark.
クマ、どうしたのよ、血相変えちゃって。外に誰かいた。ちょっと見てくる。宗十郎、飛丸、小鹿をお願い。
Jogging, Ozaki disappeared into the dark corridor connecting to the parlor. Father Eri and Sister Yuika came down the stairs, and Miss Kuonji returned from the west wing. They must have heard the commotion.
屋敷の電源がまた落ちたようですが、何かあったのですか？
それがサンルームの外に人影っぽいものが見えて、つい逃げてきちゃった。
Ozaki returned as we explained the situation.
とりあえず異常なし。サンルームの窓も割れてないし、誰かが中に入ってきた様子はないわ。
こちらも異常はありませんでした。館内に東子さんはいないようです。そうなると、
先ほどの外に人影を見たという件ですね。館内に異常がないのなら、あとは屋敷の周りだけです。
わかりました。外を調べに行きましょう。まずはサンルームのあたりですね。危険ですから調べに行くのは私とシスターユイカ、それと青。
I can never have too much brawn on the team.
エイリ神父、この風では私はあまりお役に立てないかと。耳が聞きません。
そうでしたね。しかし私はともかく青子を一人にするのは。
気にしないで。私は一人で身を守れるから。 エイリの方こそ大丈夫？今日武装してないん
You
でし
sure
ょ？
about that?
それでしたら宗十郎君、お願いできますか？彼なら互いの呼吸を心得ていますので。
Suzuki nodded solemnly. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. I think it's too dangerous to leave Aozaki alone.
待って青崎、私も行く。何言ってんのよクマ。外は危ないんだってば。いいからクマは飛び丸とロビーで
I
待
gotta
機して
roll
いてよ。
squad deep.
危ないのはあんたも同じでしょ。友人として一人で出歩かせることはできないわ。
Aozaki couldn't refuse when I put it like that. I wanted to watch her back, of course, but I had another reason too. Aozaki was currently the most suspicious survivor. It wasn't a good idea to let her go alone, for multiple reasons. If she was the killer, or sweethearts, or whatever, then our lives were in danger. If I didn't go with her, then it would cast more doubt on her later. Anyone could see how dangerous it was outside. Of course, I would have liked to stay with Tsukiji. But petty feelings like that weren't more important than my friendship with Aozaki.
オッケー、了解。でも絶対に私のそばから離れないでね。それでいいでしょ、エイリ。
ええ、実のところ私も青子に一人つけたかったのです。クマリさんなら適任でしょう。
Father Aries seemed to be thinking along the same lines. He had a cool demeanor, but maybe he had genuine concern for Aozaki.
飛び丸、ユイカさんとアリソンよろしくね。20分探して何も見つからなかったら戻ってくるから。エイリ、外に出たら右手側からぐるっと一周してきて。私は左手側から見ていくから。
My left or your left?
賢明です。行きますよ、宗十郎君。
宗十郎、
心配はこっちじゃなくクマリに。クマリ、枝が飛んでくるかもしれないから。
Yeah, I think Sojo's pretty safe. I can't see him bust in the
青
gut
崎はこう
very
いう時に
easily.
限って不思議な効果を発揮するから、そうなったらフォローしてやってくれ。
どういう意味よそれ。
I nodded to Shizuki and made my way outside with Aozaki. The storm was worse than I had expected. I could barely keep my eyes open in this
こっ
wind.
ちか。で、
Aozaki extended her left hand towards me. I grabbed hold tightly. Her hand was so cold it sent a shiver down my spine. As we rounded one side of the mansion, Aozaki stopped.
グマ、今何か光らなかった？何が？
Couldn't even open my eyes. Aozaki paused before
こ
speaking.
のまま屋敷の壁伝いに玄関まで戻ってて。さっきの光、間違いなくあいつだ。ダメだってば青崎、一人になんな。
My words failed to reach her. Aozaki ran away from the mansion into the darkness of the woods.
壁伝いに戻れって。そもそも屋敷まで戻れないわよ、バカ！
What do you mean? It's right there. I screamed out in frustration. Somehow, she heard me.
え、何か言ったクマ。
Aozaki's voice came from the tree line.
だから私一人じゃまっすぐ屋敷まで戻れぬ。すぐ後ろが屋敷だってば。
Yeah, it's not that dark.
ちゃんと振り返れば。
Huh?
しまった。そんなネタで釣られたクマ。
Yeah, you're pretty dumb. Aozaki's words hung in the air as her body suddenly flew to one side, as if she had been hit by a high-powered rifle. She lay lifelessly on the ground. I know she looked in my direction before she burst out laughing. Behind me. Footsteps. I could barely make them out in the rain. Didn't have time to look back or think. I ran as fast as I could. I needed to get away from whatever was behind me. I sprinted into the deep, dark forest, away from the mansion. My chest burned with the exertion. I've never pushed myself this hard, even during PE class. I mean, who really actually tries super hard during PE, let's be honest? Unless you're like the fucking tryhards. Wow, that was a pretty good runner. It's amazing what humans can do when we think we're about to die. It also helps that you're all of like 75 pounds, probably. So, you know, you're not having to carry a lot. My mind began to wander, trying to escape the reality of the situation, when... Suddenly, I felt like I was floating. My feet kicked wildly in the air. You Looney Tunes in it? Or did you just trip? I seemed to be falling backwards. Every breath sent a painful spasm through my back. I reached for my back, feeling like something was wrong, and touched something wet. I timidly looked at my hand. As much as I hated to admit it, my hand was strawberry red. I licked it. Yep, tastes like iron. I lost over a liter of blood, and it only kept flowing. Horrifying reality stopped me from finishing my sentence. Something was coming this way. At this point, I didn't really care. Oh damn, did I fucking dead end us? Would I sleep forever? Or be captured by the killer? Either way, apparently this is how my night would end. Oh damn! I fucked it up! Are we gonna get a... No. No, like, teach me CL Sensei or fucking Tiger Dojo, so no one to save us? Damn, that sucks. Alright. It's gonna start me all the way from... Yep. Okay. Hold up. Where's the options? I did a quick save before I left off last time. Load data? Where's the quick load? What are my controls? Shit. Fuck. Well, anyway, we're gonna be skipping red text, text outline, red text color, on. Oh god, fuck. Now I gotta fiddle with the settings, controller settings, skip mode, only when red, make all text you've read skippable, controller description, activate mode panel, start forward. What's my quick load? Quick load is, I don't have a fucking, oh god, I gotta bust out the other Joy-Con in order to load. Hold on. Oh god, how do I do this with both hands? So, cool, it's not working. Fantastic. Excellent. Give me 1 second and I will get us back to where we were. Cut. Three, two, one. All right, and we're back to, I believe, the last decision we made. Maybe it's not a good idea to go out into the dark, rainy woods where there's a killer skulking about. Fuck Alco, I guess. Best to wait. We learned our lesson last time. I should wait inside the mansion for all three of them to return.
それじゃあ行ってくる。20分探して何も見つからなかったら戻りましょう。
賢明です。行きますよ、宗十郎君。
Suzuki usually kept his distance from Father Airy, but there was nothing unusual about tonight. He kept pace at the priest's side, his head on a swivel. I waited for what felt like an eternity. Power still wasn't back on.
もう今夜中の復旧はないみたい。
Good thing there's so many
客室の配線は別
fireplaces,
系統だから、ま
except
だ電源が生きてい
people
れば
don't
いい
use
けど。
them, so you got no firewood. Those rooms must have been added on at a later date. All the older areas of the mansion, like the drawing room, hallways, and west wing, were pitch dark.
待て、ベオはどこに行った？
そういえばどこにもいないけど。
私が探してくる。みんなはここにいて。いい？決してゆいかちゃんから離れちゃダメよ。
姉さん。
大丈夫よ、信頼して。これでも闇夜には慣れてるわ。
You sure about that? Ritsuka disappeared up the stairs to the second floor of the mansion. Well, I'm gonna be smart and quick save on these decisions now. Come to think of it, Bayo. Thinking about it, they were away for a while, so, like Aozaki, they could have murdered Mr. Tokitsu and Mr. Yamashiro too. After a long 20 minutes, Aozaki returned. She took off her raincoat and dried herself off with a towel.
いや、ひどい嵐だわこりゃ。もう風っていうより壁？周りの木が飛んでいってないのが不思議なくらい。
Well, there's definitely going to be some down
まあ
ones.
プロイの仕業なんだから、それぐらいありなんだろうけど。
More cleanup for fucking Sojiro. Aozaki explained that she'd patrolled a loop of the entire mansion, starting from the left side. She didn't find anything in front of the sunroom.
それよりエイリと宗十郎は？途中ですれ違わなかったのですか？全然。外に出るとき、森の方が気になるとか言ってたけど。
Well, that is where,
まさかあの
she
二人、
died last time.
この嵐の中で森に入ったんじゃ。
Aozaki and Sister Yuika exchanged concerned glances. Then, Suzuki came back, looking sullen and dripping wet. I have to fight myself every single time now not to say Shizuki. My mouth and brain don't even know which one's the right way anymore. Like they're just in constant conflict with each other. Father Airy wasn't with him.
すまない。目を離した隙にエイリ神父がすごく面白い子。
Suzuki was clearly downtrodden, but he made a bizarre choice of words.
しずきさん、まさかエイリ神父が。そのまさかみたいね。あのエイリまでやられるなんて何者なのよ一体。
I mean, he seemed to have a pretty bad sense of humor, so it might have been pretty easy to get him. The foyer fell silent. Suzuki was biting his lip, clearly ashamed of losing track of the priest and falling for the killer's trap.
宗十郎、その手に持ってるのなんだ？
Looking closer, I could see something long and fluffy in his hand, about 8 inches in length.
いや、館の東側。 サンルームの前に落ちてたんだけど。
Oh, that's creepy. He held up what looked like a golden dog plush. There's a strange pattern on its forehead.
5人目の犠牲者ね。
それベオ？じゃああいつがサンルームの前にいた人影？
うん。言われてみれば確かにベオだったな。あれ、もしかしてあいつ俺たちに助けを求めていたのか？
Maybe. If he was, what did that mean? Bayo saw the killer outside the sunroom, was made to laugh somehow, remembered we were inside, and tried to get our attention? Ritsuko was the one who warned us to stay away from Bayo. She said she was used to dark nights. Did she know that the silhouette was Bayo trying not to laugh?
ベオは何か見つけたのかもね。密かに一番頼りにしてたのに痛手だわ。
Yeah, he seemed useful.
そ
A
れ
bit
で操
finicky
縦
to
は
use, but
エイリはどのあたりでやられたの？
西側の森だ。何か動くものがあるって森に入っていって、すぐに笑い声が聞こえてきた。その後、落雷のような悲鳴と滝のような血が降ってきて、見上げてみたら。
what did you see? Everyone held their breath in anticipation. We all braced for the gruesome description of the priest's demise.
見上げたら
木と木の間
Ugh.
にクモの巣みたいにロープが張り巡らされていて、その中心でくねくねしたポーズで死んでた。なんか裸になって
Man, what a
バラ
freak!
加えて。
Instinctively, I turned to face the laughter behind me. It all happened so quickly. Sister Yuika turned to stone as soon as she heard Suzuki's report.
ユイカさん、石化して死んだ！
Oh, so she likes flat deliveries, huh? Just straight punches.
なまじ耳で世界を捉える人だから。
俺は普段この人と神父がどんだけ険悪なのか気になって仕方がないな。ともかくこれで7人だ。
Unfortunately for us, all the people who posed the greatest threat to the killer were gone. The clock approached 1 a.m. Well, I guess you can all just stay in the foyer and just play Uno or something. Unable to go to the drawing room, those of us left behind were stuck staying in the foyer. It was surprisingly dark in here. The guest rooms were probably better lit, and I considered going there. Might look weird going by myself, though. Was Ozaki's older sister, the 13th guest, really here? I couldn't go back to my room yet until that mystery was solved, at least.
とりあえずユイカさんの彫像は部屋の隅に移動させよう。あれ、重いな。
Rude,
すごく重いぞユイカさん。
but also, yeah, it's a pillar of stone.
飛び丸手伝ってくれ。
はいよ、俺後ろな。見た目通りいい曲線してやがんな、ユイカさん。
Ain't wrong.
シスター目当てで教会に通い詰める野郎が多いわけだ。
You know, salvation of your eternal soul is just a bonus. Even in this situation, Suzuki and Tsukichi were friendly. Couldn't believe how calm they both were. Felt like I was nearing a breaking point. Something jumped out at me. I'd die of shock before I died of laughter.
クマ、お茶でも入れてこようか？顔色真っ青よ。ありがとう。けどいらない。
Yeah, you drink too much, you'll have to go to the bathroom by yourself and then you'll be an easy victim. Last thing I wanted was to have to use the toilet, and I was scared of venturing far into the mansion to find one.
お、余裕じゃない。その調子なら朝まで持ちそうね。
I know it's just like a Japanese thing where they call the bathroom the toilet, which, I mean, you're not wrong, but to my posh American brain, it sounds crude and blunt to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go use the toilet. You know, might as well just say you're gonna go take a fat shit. You know, I'm going to the restroom. So it's a little more, you know, less direct.
エイリとユイカさんは残念なことになったけど、ある意味ちょっと安心した。
But
この
not so
メン
much
ツ
as
な
being
ら気
like, oh,
心
I
知れ
need
て
to
る
go
し、
powder my nose
疑い合うこ
or
とも
pick
ない
some
しね。
flowers. That's too roundabout. It leaves too much up to the imagination.
あとはトークを見つければ。
いえ、それには及ばないわ。今までよくやってくれたものね、アコちゃん。
リツカさん。
You find it out? The voice came from the stairs. Ritsuka had returned from her search for Bayo.
何よ、今のどういう意味、リツカ。
だから芝居はもういいってことです。チェックメイトよ、アコちゃん。どうしてこんな強行に及んだのかは全然わからないけど、物的証拠が真実を示
Unless
してい
it's a
るの。
setup.
まだ断定はしないけど、十中八九、あなたがスイーツハーツ最有力候補よ。
You're not wrong.
何言い出すのよ、バカリツカ。私がスイーツハーツだなんてそんなわけないじゃない。ないわよね。ないはずだと思うけど。
Yeah, it'd be pretty embarrassing if you were, though.
しらばくれるのもそこまで。ベオ君を探しているときにあなたの部屋を見させてもらったわ。
You find
動
the
か
pudding
ぬ
cup?
証拠がそこにあるのよ。
あんたどうやって私の部屋に入ったのよ。鍵かけてあったでしょ。
私の数少ない特技、本格推理ピッキングです。
Oh, nice. It's good to learn a trade.
本格でピッキングはご法度だから。そんなんで人が必死に隠してた死体を見つけるとか反則じゃない。
Aqua was losing it. We all stared at her, silently.
いや、その
宗十郎、青崎の部屋は？
東館の2
Yep,
階
group
の
trip.
突き当たりだ。
We followed Ritsuka to Ozaki's bedroom. Our suspect tagged along, pouting and sulking.
ドアを開けるわ。
Ritsuka opened the door. We moved from the dark corridor to the equally dim bedroom. When I entered, I was greeted by the sight of a... a woman beautiful enough to make me question my sexuality. Clutching a microphone in one hand, cradling a huge bottle of liquor in the other, taking a satisfied, eternal slumber. And the walls. Were plastered with bizarre posters.
急性アルコール中毒。
Nah, Togo's got too strong of a tolerance.
これが動かぬ証拠よ、アコちゃん。いくらトコちゃんが邪魔だからってこんな恥ずかしい姿のまま放置しておくなんて。トコちゃん、私はプログレ派だなんて言ってたけど本当は演歌好きだったのね。しかもマイマイクまで持っちゃって。
I can see Toko being into Enka.
だから見せたくなかったのに。
Azaki was squirming up a storm. However, this didn't change the fact that she bit my tongue, that she concealed the victim.
そっか。思い返してみれば青崎は自分の部屋に誰も寄りつかないよう動いていたんだ。この人の死体が見つかったらいろいろと不便だから。違うってば、私も被害者なんだって。昼過ぎに部屋に戻ってみたら姉貴がいきなり死んでるんだもん。そりゃ隠すでしょ普通。
残念だが、青崎、お前さんの弁明はもう遅い。それならどうして13人目がいるかいないかを話し合っているとき、姉貴のことを話さなかったんだ。
She doesn't like to think about her sister.
だってあの時に切り出してもどうして黙っていたんだって追及されるじゃない。エイリとユイカさんからしてみれば私を弾劾する絶好の機会だし。
Well, then they just could have, and if they were wrong, they would have went poof.
それなら黙っていて私の手で犯人を捕まえようって。
そうかしら。13人目がいるって状態にしておけばアコちゃんが自由に暗躍できるからじゃないの。事実トコちゃんを探そうとしてベオくんもエイリさんもユイちゃんもリタイアしちゃったんだし。
だからそれはエイリたちが自滅しただけで。
悪いな青崎。クオンジの説明からするとスイーツハーツとやらは自分でもわからない犯人だ。
But also in our dead end, Aoko also bit it, so...
こいつの正体を暴くには動機より状況証拠を優先しないといけない。現状最も今までの犠牲者たちを殺害できる可能性があったのは
But I'm all aboard the dogpile Aoko train.
ええ。悲しいけどこれ推理なのよね。
Tsukiji and Ritsuka grabbed her arms. Suzuki casually helped.
どうするつもり？まさか疑わしきは殺すってわけ？
Yes.
落ち着いて隔離するだけよアコちゃん。犯人と思わしき者は警察が来るまで閉じ込めて強行をストップさせるミステリーの情動ね。
Or you have a
外から
fist
鍵
fight
を
at
か
the
けら
top
れ
of a
る監獄っ
waterfall.
ぽい部屋はあるかしら。
You can do that too.
それなら地下室があるわ。雪山のペンションにありそうな細い階段から直通の狭い部屋が。青子にはそこで一晩明かしてもらいましょう。
スキーアト！そのペンションの名前スキーアトとか言わないアリス！
青崎、
What does that even
お
mean?
前さんがスイーツハーツでないにしろそこに閉じこもっていれば安全だろ。これは最後の保険でもあるんだ。観念して生贄になってくれ。
確かにそういう理屈
Was
にな
that
る
like
よね。
a reference to the thing?
民主主義的に閉じ込められる隙を見せた私の負けってことか。
Yep, good old democracy, worst form of government besides all the others. Yeah, we should have locked her up from the start. If Ozaki really was sweethearts, no one else would die from any sudden bouts of comedy. And if she wasn't, then she'd survive until the game was over. Who wouldn't protest, though, if they were labeled prime suspect? Felt awful to be the one handing down a verdict. One of us had to be unlucky enough to take the fall.
でもこれだけは言っておくわ。
Yeah, be the vessel for all the evils of humanity, Aoko.
相手はとんでもない切れ者よ。もしかしたら本当に姿のない13人目はいるかもしれない。
Those were Ozaki's last words. After shutting herself in the cellar and locking from the outside with a padlock, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. Keep your guard up. I wasn't so sure about that.
これでやっと眠れるわ。それじゃあみんなおやすみなさい。
Ritsuka disappeared up the west wing stairs.
私も休ませてもらうわ。しずきくんはエイリ神父にあてがっていた部屋を使って。夜が
Oh
明ける
yeah,
まで
there's a body
し
in
ずきくん
there.
の部屋は使えないから。
ああ、そうだった。ありがとうアリス。
Special occasions, so you get to use a real bedroom. Miss Koonji and Suzuki retired to their respective rooms. It was just us left. I mustered up the courage to look at Tsukiji.
くまり、話ちょっとだけいいか。
築地、少しだけ話さない？
We smiled at each other. We both had the same idea, apparently. Things had gotten really out of hand tonight. It was an ungodly hour. What, 2 a.m.? That's not that bad. It's 3:30 a.m. when I'm recording this. The storms raging outside seemed to portend the end of the world. If we laughed, we die, and yet here I am with a guy I've had a crush on for 3 years.
お茶を入れられるな、ここ。くまりは紅茶でいいか。
Fortunately for you, Kumari, this game is, I don't even know this game's rating. T? I think it's T.
コーヒーすごく
Or
苦いの。砂糖
Peggy
入れないで。
15. Is that the Peggy rating? I don't know. I'm not a European. I just like the way they announce it in all the game trailers.
そりゃ豪気だ。甘みは必要ねってか。
I'm the same issue. Like, I drink all my coffee black because I have too strong of a sweet tooth. And if I'm in charge of putting my own sugar in it, it's just going to be like, I'm going to be adding sugar until the point where the coffee's completely saturated and it cannot hold any more, like, nothing else can dissolve into it. That sounded a little sarcastic, but I know he didn't mean it that way.
話って人物 A のこと？
お、まだ解決とは言えないからな。くまりだって青崎が 100% 星だと思ってねえだろ。
Yeah, she's too stupid to come up with conniving plans like this. He passed me a coffee, and I slowly brought it to my mouth before taking a sip. He was right. I didn't. We were both on the same page.
青崎が該当するのは確かだけど、それを言うなら律香さんもしずきもだしね。信頼できるのはクオンジさんと事件が起きてからずっと一緒にいた私たちぐらいじゃない？
ああ、クオンジは信用できねえだろ。あいつ基本的にプロイとやらの味方じゃねえか。
Well, yes, it is her ploy, so.
そうなの？確かにずっと中立っぽい態度だったけど、根拠は？
Also, she killed Riddle.
犯人探しをする気がないっていうのと、そうだな。
But we'll just pretend that didn't happen.
勘で申し訳ないんだが、人物 A とやらに肩入れしている気がする。
そりゃそうでしょう。プロイってクオンジさんの持ち物なんだし、もう人物 A はプロイが化けてるんだし。
いや、そっちじゃない。今動いているプロイにじゃなくて、使ったやつに対してだよ。
Okay.
だってあいつ、怒ってなかっただろ。自分の持ち物が勝手に使われたっていうのに。
おう。
He was right. Does that mean Miss Kuonji knew who the killer was?
知らないとは思うぜ。だが、あえて口にしていないことはあるだろうな。例えば、スイーツハーツとやらの詳しい特徴だ。リデルの口ぶりからすると、使う人間にはある種の特徴がありそうだった。スイーツハーツは誰にでも使えるもんじゃねえと思う。
What do you mean?
ほら、妖刀とか名刀とかで、
You need to
持ち物
fulfill
が
the
持ち
condition.
主を選ぶって言うじゃねえか。
Could a thing really choose who uses it? If so, did that mean Miss Kuonji was supporting... No. Emphatic to it? What? Emphatic? Okay. Empathetic. Emphasis. Syllables.
しかし、今更だけどな。くまり、俺とコンビでよかったのか？
Well, that came out of nowhere. I tried my best to stay calm as I answered.
それはいい。私、築地のこと信頼してるし。
いや、この場合まずいだろ、それ。今夜に限っちゃ、信頼しているやつほど危ねえじゃねえか。
Mm-hmm.
そうね。疑ってかかるぐらいがちょうどいい。
そういうこと。この事件で一番信用しちゃならねえのは自分だ。
It's good to be able to
だ
trust
から
people,
常に
but
客観的に監視している
think
相
a
棒
little
がい
hard
ない
before
と
blind
無
trust.
実が証明できない。リデルのやつが二人一組で行動しようって言い出したのはそのあたりも含めてだろうよ。二心同体、スイーツハーツとはよく言ったもんだ。
We put Riddle behind us.
じゃあ築地は誰が一番怪しいと思ってる？
全員平等だぜ。
Yeah.
怪しいってんなら俺はまだ時津のじいさんの死体が本物かどうかさえ保留してるしな。青崎が自分の部屋を隠していたこともありゃ真犯人にうまくはめられたんじゃないかって思ってる。一番の強敵を真っ先に封じに来た結果かもしれん。
青崎がはめられた？
Mm-hmm.
ああ、事実上あの行動力の塊みたいな女が自分の部屋を隠すことで手一杯だっただろ。それに妙なこと言ってたじゃねえか。青崎の姉貴がいつああなったか。くまりはどう思う？
That was a long pause. Four p.m. and 6 p.m. because that's when Kamari went for her nap? Question mark? Because it couldn't have been 2 p.m. because we had seen Toko then, so she was still kicking, I believe. I wasn't paying attention to the clock because I'm bad at little details. I think Toko must have died sometime between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m.
まあ、断定できない以上、憶測は憶測でしかねえけどな。それよりだ、くまり。ネックはいつ殺したかじゃなく、どうやって殺したかだと思わねえか。山城にしろ、営利神父にしろ、あの鉄仮面たちを笑わせられるのはよっぽどのセンスだ。
You think?
殺害可能時間は平等にあっても、そのセンスだけは限られる。この点で言えば、まあ、宗十郎やらベオやら木の実やらは除外される。
Tsukiji had latched onto something big. Why hadn't anyone else thought of that? Osuke's jokes only made people cringe. Beo didn't even understand the concept of humor. And for Shizuki, I've met planks of wood that get jokes quicker. Our discussion carried on until nearly 3 a.m. I yawned. I was by no means relaxed, just exhausted. And I'll also yawn. Because I'm one of those people that no matter what, if I hear a yawn, I have to also yawn. After everything that happened, I'd be surprised if anyone had any real energy left.
夜更かししすぎたな。そろそろ眠り時だがどうする？念には念だ。俺もそこのソファーで眠るってのもありだが。
He was clearly on guard for sweethearts disguised as Aozaki or someone else. I yawned again. As long as we lock the door, I won't be able to sleep. Should be safe as long as the door is locked, but we still have other things to worry about.
いい。ここまで来たらあと少しだし。だいたい全員を疑えって言ったの築地じゃん。
Yeah, I can't have you going out and about, skulking all by yourself.
そうだったな。俺も容疑者の一人だった。
Yeah, you can just take one of the blankets and cocoon yourself in the corner.
さすがくまり、余計な心配だったぜ。
Tsukiji turned to the door, ready to leave. I tried to say something.
関係ないけど、ひどい一日だったのに、築地はなんか満足そうね。
What the hell was I saying? I was just embarrassing myself.
何人も死んで自分も殺されかけた一日か。確かにひでえ一日だった。
Luckily, he took my question seriously.
けどまあ、なんだかんだと楽しかったからな。くまりもそうじゃなかったのか？
His considerate reply was so reassuring, I almost forgot my anxiety.
意外。築地はこういうの鼻で笑うかと思った。
He's not that haughty.
そりゃ見込み違いだったな。こういうバカ騒ぎ好きなんだよ、俺。ふざけた人生を送りたいんでな。
何それ。幻滅。
I was being serious. It reminded me of the first time I started realizing that I'd fallen for him. Tsukiji was an amazing person, but he was squandering his potential. He didn't want glory or to move up in the world. Like such a waste of human capital. could never do that. As long as I had been watching him, wanting to kick his... How long have I been watching him wanting to kick his butt into gear?
こっちも今更だけど。築地、割と人付き合い悪いじゃない？なのにどうして
Yeah,
私とは普
he's
通に話すの？
unabashedly him, which, can be a little prickly.
そりゃお前さん、親にも教師にも頼らず6年間一人で戦ってきたやつには敬意を表すだろう。じゃあな、朝になったらロビーで会おうぜ。
And with that, the room went quiet again. For some reason, I felt a tight squeezing sensation in my chest.
なんだかんだと。くまりもそうじゃなかったのか？
Tsukiji's words replayed themselves over and over in my head. Yeah, he was right. Maybe it had been fun. So damn, that must be some good coffee if it can stay hot for an hour. Or, well, I guess it'd be the mugs in that case. Being able to retain that heat. Because, the, fifth of a cup I have left in my mug is ice cold right now. I woke up to the sound of birds chirping. The clock read 5:30. The sun was beginning to peek over the horizon. It's autumn and the sun's up at 5:30? Ugh! Fucking Japanese time zones suck. My ability to rise early was one of my few strong points, so I must have been really exhausted. I foggily examined my wrinkled clothes in a mirror. My body was still asleep. I was too tired to even make tea, so I just grabbed my wallet and a card case off the table. The case contained my commuter pass and some pictures I took each year. Hey, whoa! I'd seen that image before, but, nice. Where's, what button do I hit? Ah! Foiled once again. Fuck you, Nintendo. I had a rare shot of Ozaki making a fool of herself at this time of at this year's school festival. Man, who approved that as being like, oh yeah, this is wholesome high school activity? I can see no issues here. She either drank champagne thinking it was a soft drink, or someone slipped alcohol into the juice cocktail. That second one's pretty bad. Next thing I knew, she was all hyper, yelling about wearing someone else's clothes. I got a great shot of her with my disposable camera. I loved that photo so much I carried it with me in my card case everywhere I go. Whenever I felt down, it always cheered me up to look at it and remember how adorable Ozaki could be. It was a side of herself that nobody who knew her would ever expect. Especially her comedic side.
あれ?
Wait a second. Did I just think something I really shouldn't have? That would be incredibly bad to bring up now?
そうだ。みんなは?
I rifled through my overnight bag to see if anything might be of use. Turns out, the stuff I brought to cook with was worth bringing. I hovered over the wok or the cleaver, ultimately deciding to take the wok with me. I went out into the hallway. The air was slightly cooler than inside the guest room. Silence had fallen over the mansion once again. There was no sound, sign of life. It was like the storm never happened. Tsukiji's room was empty. Shizuki wasn't in Father Aries' room. Nobody was in Ritsuka's room either. I called down to the void of the west wing, but got no response. I was alone. I headed down to the basement where Ozaki was confined. Down a narrow staircase to a door. There was like a double space between the A and arrow there. Odd. The padlock had been broken clean off from the outside.
青崎
I braced myself for whatever was to come and opened the door. Inside the tiny cellar, I saw a dead body lying face down. The beautiful, long hair, that was all I needed to know. It was all I needed to see to know it was Aozaki. She wasn't breathing. She had scrawled something with her left hand in her last moments. It was her dying message, written in blood. I could feel the disdain in the words.
やっぱりって言うなやっぱり
Aozaki wasn't the killer. It wasn't clear when she was murdered, but whoever the killer was broke the lock, made her laugh, nonchalantly went upstairs, and... I tried to control my breathing and racing mind. Everyone was dead. Everyone was dead. Probably only the killer and I were left. But the sun was already up. Wait, not completely. If the rule said it ended in the morning, then the game wasn't over yet. I had to get out of here now and figure out who the killer was. There was no winning this unless I did something. Everyone was dead. No turning back now. Oh boy! Tried, I guess? I thought I should try to deduce who the killer is.
落ち着けもう条件は揃ってるはず
I controlled my breathing and began to organize the facts in my head. I didn't have a decisive answer to the killer's motive, method, or identity. There's only one thing I knew for sure. Tsukichi had said it many times. It's not about who committed the murders, but rather who could have committed the murders. The first murder, Tokitsu's capture and death by explosion. We could conclude the following suspects: me, Miss Kuonji, Tsukichi, Father Eri, and Sister Yuika. The second murderer, Mr. Yamashiro's fabulous funeral. Possible to rule any suspects out. At a stretch, we could maybe exclude Miss Kuonji. We don't know when Mr. Yamashiro was killed, because we were all looking around after Tokitsu's murder. It's unlikely the murder was committed within that 10-minute gap, but we couldn't rule it out completely. Man, it'd be nice to get some red text about now. Third murder, Hosuke and Riddell. Who cares? The fourth murder, Bayo. Couldn't have been me, because I didn't search for Ozaki's sister. Neither could it have been Tsukiji, Suzuki, or Ritsuka. The fifth murder, Father Eri's web. We were in the foyer, so it couldn't have been me, Tsukiji, Ritsuka, or Miss Kuonji. The sixth murder, the Yuika statue. That was a self-destruction, yeah. This one didn't matter either. The seventh murderer, the Elder Ozaki's death by alcohol poisoning. This might actually have been the first murder in the timeline. We could exclude maybe only Miss Kuonji, barely. That's everything I knew. Now it came down to the simple process of elimination. Who was the invisible killer who made everyone laugh? I think the killer must be... oh boy. Oh, I actually have to pick. Fuck. Shit. I don't know, man. Fuck. Shit. Ooh, tough. Ah, shit. My dumbness is showing. Let's see. Can't be Yauko. She's dead. Alice is at most culprit. I mean, not culprit. Complicit. Suzuki is kind of on the table. Toko told us herself that she didn't do it. Tobimaru was with us for some of them. Osuke, he died. Bayo's dead. Eri's dead. Ritsuka couldn't. Yuika couldn't. It was me! I'm the killer!
ダメ、根拠が薄い。
Yeah.
これで指摘したら私がアウトだ。
I didn't know who the killer was. But we were the only ones left in the mansion. I made a random guess and ended up being eliminated. I was finished. In that case, maybe I should make a run for it and win the game that way?
あなた。
A shadowy figure crept up behind me. It raised its hands as if to say hello.
我々は宇宙人だ。
The primitive directness of his greeting caught me off guard.
しずき、あんたが犯人だったの？
そうだ。我々はやったぜやったぜ。
いや、その演技はいいから。
Yeah. I struggled to inject calm into my voice and to keep my arms and legs from shaking. That voice really was something. So much that I was more concerned with making it stop than whodunits or howdunnits.
我々は火星人だ。
そういう話でもなくて、いいから真面目に話せバカ。私、笑っちゃったからもうすぐ死ぬのよ。せめて最後にどうしてこうなったのかをぶちまけて。
すまないが、それは説明できない。俺が話せるのは俺の事情だけだからだ。
What was that supposed to mean? Suzuki could only talk about himself. Does that mean there was someone else?
くまり、君にわかるだろうか。1年間、ひたすら冗談のセンスがないと言われ続けた男の気持ちが。
This is your grand revenge.
パーティーを盛り上げようと勇気を振り絞るたびに、お呼びじゃないと突っ返される男の気持ちが。
よし、わかった、ぶん殴る。
I didn't even want to think about this anymore. But did he seriously do all this to prove he had a sense of humor? I'd say he failed the moment he put on that ridiculous disguise. But was that any reason to help a murderer?
でも、それで笑うのは青崎とクオンジさんぐらいよ。そんな一発芸で笑う文明人が他にいるはずがない。
いや、でもくまりは。
本当にぶん殴るわよ。
ごめんなさい。なんでもないです。
あれでしょ？築地たちを笑わせたのは青崎の写真でしょ？
そうだ。あれこそ切り札だ。
You had that too?
同時に、それは俺への報酬でもある。
Any of the guys who knew Aozaki would laugh at that picture of her. Particularly Mr. Yamashiro, Tsukiji, and Father Eri.
つまり、犯人は。
I tried to speak, but the words didn't come out. I played right into Sweetheart's hands. The killer Suzuki was the last person left standing, while I'd failed to guess correctly and just stood there, mind blank. I was just one step away. I'd almost figured it all out, but just focused a little more in the evening. And thought it through a little bit more. Yeah, Suzuki was obviously my second guess. Because, you know, he was just moving around so much and he blends into the background. But I failed, which is why... Quick load? Can I quick load? No? No? It won't let me. Why do you like this game? Yeah, just the button for quick loading doesn't work. It's fantastic. I love that. Fucking dead end in my ass. Hello? Oh. I removed the text box. I didn't hit forward. Yeah. Alright, see you guys at the final choice again. Whoa, what was that? We must have just had a little interference from a different world line where I'm stupid and not able to properly deduct things. Crazy. Good thing that's not the proper timeline. Anyway, yeah, it's clearly Sojiro's the killer.
ダメ、根拠が薄い。これで指摘し
Oh, is it the same? This is gonna be really embarrassing if it's literally the exact same thing. It is. I have to choose to run. Oh! See you in 5 more minutes after I skip through everything again. Alright, let's try it from back here before we get to the next one and just say run around. That's how it has to be, then there's no helping it now.
そうよね。万が一の時便利だし。
I think this is just one of those choices where it's...
私はほら、兄貴が売るほどいるから。男子と一緒の部屋とか、
Okay.
多分
This is what I had wanted
し
the first time. It's just my reading comprehension is 0, and those two choices were fairly vaguely worded from my perspective.
そりゃ頼もしい。じゃ、ソファーを借りるぜ。いい加減、俺も気を張り続けて
And I'm not just dumb. Trust me.
くまりがいるなら、ちっとは安心して眠れる。
Tsukiji quickly fell asleep after raising his hand to wave goodnight. I looked at him all wrapped up in a blanket.
何それ。
Seeing him fall asleep so quickly helped me to feel relaxed too. I definitely didn't want to get excited in a situation like this. Plus, I was beat. I didn't have any pajamas, and I didn't feel like changing anyway. For comfort, I did remove my wallet and card case from my pockets and place them on a table before sliding under a blanket fully clothed. I couldn't fall asleep as fast as Tsukiji, but I could feel myself drifting off already. Into a deep, deep sleep. Did I just hear laughter next to me? I woke up to the sound of birds chirping. The clock read 5:30. The sun was beginning to peek up over the horizon. My ability to rise early is one of my few strong points, so I must have been really exhausted. I looked around the room, my vision blurry.
そうだ、築地。
I went to sleep in the same room as him. Finally realized that he wasn't where I'd last seen him. There was nobody on the sofa. Just his clothes. They were laid out neatly like they were on display. It was like he'd shrunk so small he disappeared, or melted away somewhere. Maybe he wanted to die by completely vanishing.
築地？
I tried touching his clothes. I touched his blanket and the sofa. His warmth had long since faded. My card case had fallen around where his hand might have been. I could have guessed what happened. He never really fell asleep. He pretended to, so I'd relax, then he stayed up to watch over me all night. This was a locked room murder. It was clear that the murder weapon is, and I finally it was clear what the murder weapon is, and I was finally close to figuring out who the killer was, too. I picked up my card case and left the room feeling empty inside. I'm so sorry, Tsukiji. As Ozaki's friend, of course you'd laugh at that photo. It was quiet. The air was crisp. My mind was so blank I almost laughed. Tsukiji's room was clean and tidy. Mother Air's room was clean and tidy. Ritsuka's room was clean and
誰
tidy.
か。生き
I yelled out into the void of the west wing, but no one responded. My hunch was spot on. Something was wrong. This mansion was now the cleanest, quietest place in all of Misaki. It was over. I went down to the basement where Ozaki was confined, down the narrow staircase to the door. The padlock had been broken clean off from the outside. Inside the tiny cellar, I saw a single dead body lying prone. The beautiful long hair was all I needed to know who it was, Ozaki. She wasn't breathing. She hadn't been the killer. It was unclear what time she had been murdered, but whoever the killer was broke the lock, made Ozaki laugh, nonchalantly went upstairs, and cut off my means of escape. They were going to show up soon. They must have been hiding somewhere, waiting for me to come down into the basement. The stairs were the only way out. The killer followed me down here. I was trapped.
まあ、もうどうでもいいか。
I was at a dead end. Game over. Victory to the real killer. My thoughts were interrupted by the sounds of footsteps. The footsteps of death. At least I made a manual hard save this time. So that way, I don't have to skip through everything again. It's only been an extra, 20 minutes onto the video of stuff I'm gonna have to cut out. It's fine. I'm not mad. Yes, I would really like to load that data, please. And I'm not cutting this time. Now we just get to watch everything in fast forward. Except this part, because it can't be skipped. You need to watch the slow panning cinematic shots. Keep on running. I think it'd be best to run away until the morning.
あれ?
Something felt off for a second there. It was as if my decision was completely different from the words that came from my mouth.
それどころじゃない。早く逃げないと。
Fucking cheese it! Game would end if I just kept from getting caught until sunrise. As long as I survived, sweethearts wouldn't win. The storm was over. If I could make it back to the city, everything would go back to normal.
嘘。
I'd been heading downhill at all this time, so how did I end up back at the mansion? Yeah, it's a conceptual thing. There's no... You can't leave. Till the game's over. Ah. The ground distorted. My senses went haywire. The world crumbled. I must have done something wrong. Suddenly, a voice whispered in my ear.
皆殺しおめでとう
It was a voice of terror that I'd never heard before. It sounded so familiar. I have to go back further, don't I? Well, time to open up a guide, I guess. See you guys in a minute! Okay, so, from the looks of it, the only way to be able to guess correctly and, not have it go to the bad end is I need enough, let's just call them evidence points. So, I was right on the Ozaki. Doesn't add up because it doesn't. This one, I'm gonna have to go with Suzuki, because, yeah. Wow, it's all the same stuff. And I guess for this one, the guide says Ritsuko. Probably doesn't matter for those two. And then the other thing is when I get to the next choice, which I'll just skip to after I finish my explanation, is right at the very end when it's like, oh, when did Toko get murdered? 2 to 4, I guess. I guess I misremembered the times when Komari was asleep, so see you guys then. Alright, from here on, we're just gonna be fast forwarding. No more cuts. I think Toko Ozaki was the first victim.
ああ、そう考えないと青崎の行動はおかしい。
Yep. I was thinking fucking Komari slept from 4 to 6, not 2 to 4. I mean, well, the 15-minute, you know, when they first arrived, like when they came down.
青崎は午前中は町で買い物をしていた。青崎姉はあいつが部屋を留守にしている間、くまりたちを連れて一息ついて部屋に戻るまでの間に殺されたと見るべきだろう。
This is probably the big one that I missed,
15時半
which is
頃
why we weren't able to
私
get it.
2階廊下で青崎とすれ違ったけど、
Yeah, because I was misremembering the time.
東館の奥
Do I have fast
青
forward
崎
still
の
on?
部屋は煙火地獄になってたわけね。
まあ断定できない以上、憶測は憶測。
No, we can skip. As long as they lock the door. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. That was probably the main one keeping me from being able to succinctly guess Suzuki, besides the selecting him in the whose story doesn't add up. Because from the sounds of it, that one holds a lot of weight on, being able to correctly get to the end. It wouldn't be a Type Moon visual novel without some weird choices earlier on in the story that completely prevent you from getting to the proper ending. Give me flashbacks to Stay Night when it's like, oh yeah, you need to load a save from 15 hours ago and make one different choice that seems fairly mundane, but it gives you like the half extra character affection point you need in order to clear this event. It was Shizuki. If the facts were pointing at anyone, it was him. He knew this mansion inside and out. He'd been helping out with the birthday party, so he could move about freely without raising suspicion. But the biggest piece of evidence was the glaring discrepancy between his and Miss Kuonji's alibis. Suzuki said he was in the mansion in the morning. However, that's not what his landlady said. She said that no one was around to help, so she locked the place up herself. If she did that on a regular basis, she wouldn't have been bothered to mention that. Miss Kuonji wanted either Suzuki or Aozaki to lock the doors. Ozaki said she was in town that morning. That's likely why her sister was able to enter her room. Suzuki lied about being at the mansion at that time.
決め手がそれだけっていうのがなんとも弱いけど。
I felt there was more I could pin on him, but I wasn't sure what right now. I had to find Suzuki before morning, before someone was behind me.
あんたが犯人ね、Shizuki!
Eat this! I took out my trusty wok and swung it as hard as I could before he could lay a hand on me. It connected. Hard. Harder than it should have. Shizuki, I only saw him briefly, but I knew it was him. He collapsed to the ground, and a strange item tumbled onto the floor. It was the kind of cheap fake glasses and nose you could find in any bag of party favors.
そんなんで笑わせるとかあり？
You. The only ones who would were Miss Kuonji, who didn't get out too much, and Aozaki, who thought so much of Suzuki. Whatever. I started running. As long as I guessed the killer correctly, I've beaten the game. Maybe Suzuki would recover and come after me. I decided to escape through the foyer. If I could make it to the forest outside, I'd win. It had to be morning by now. It was still dark outside. What? How? How was it still dark out?
あなたよくもやって。
A resentful female voice croaked from the foyer. Wait, female? But who was it? I thought Suzuki was the killer. Run. Just run. Run! I was confused, but I could still run. I tripped and fell. As I stood up, I tried to take a second to think. I was mistaken. The game was still on. That was true, and Sweetheart had won. Suki was the killer. I was sure of it. I said it out loud. I was still alive, wasn't I? Remember the rules. If you accuse someone and you're wrong, you die. As long as I was still alive, Suki had to be the killer. Was I wrong? Was I missing something?
さっきの犯人当てあれがヒントなのは間違いない。考えるんだ。順序立ててそもそも何が原因なのか。
I heard footsteps getting louder. Morning was almost here. This is my last and only chance. Is Miss Kaonji a neat freak? That doesn't mean anything. Sodoro is. Why did Tokitsu come to this party? He got an invitation. Are there two types of murders? You mean like premeditated and like murders of like passions, like opportunity? Or it's because lockpicking skills. Names define us. Two types of murder? I'm not gonna use the guide anymore. I'm just gonna. Oh, no! Not load. Back. Save. That's right, we hard saving now. There had to be two. Yeah, two. It's impossible to explain some things if there was only one method. But what if there were two? First, to consider the nature of the murders. It could be divided up into the times the killer made the victim laugh, times when the victim saw a dead body and laughed. Hosuke, Riddle, and Sister Yuika fell under the latter self-destruction category. But it may have applied to another victim too. Bayo. Bayo died outside the sunroom after he laughed, but there was nothing in the sunroom that could have made him laugh. It's unlikely anything had been set up in the forest, not when the weather was so bad. So the trap must have been laid inside, but not in the sunroom. What about above the sunroom on the second floor? Ozaki's bedroom was directly above the sunroom. Maybe someone had asked Bayo to look into Ozaki's room from outside. Then, Bayo had seen something. Toko, out of her mind, dead drunk. Bayo knew Toko well. There was definitely a chance he'd laugh if he saw her like that. It was ingenious, as traps went. Either way, even if he didn't laugh, the person who asked him simply told him to check, so they wouldn't seem suspicious. It would make sense. It would only make people suspect Ozaki sooner.
殺害方法は2種類あったんだ。犯人による直接的な方法と、その後の犠牲者を利用した二次災害。それと同じように。
There were two killers. Riddle's suggestions. Tsukiji's suspicions. Teams of two. Immediate betrayal. Two minds, one body. Intimate betrayal. Sweethearts. The prayer ploy Kickshaw. In retrospect, it was such a revealing name. If sweet refers to the pudding body, then what about a heart?
人間だ。敵は複数形だった。
Ah. That means there's two sweethearts. In this game, the killer and prime suspect had to be separate people. The prime suspect used a ploy, while their accomplice carried out the killings. Suzuki merely played the role of the suspect. I guessed correctly, but I hadn't seen the full picture. Must be why I wasn't out of the woods yet, so to speak.
待って。それならもう答えは明白。あとは、ほら、あの問題を検証すればいいだけだ。
Who has magical energy? Literally everybody who could activate a ploy. who's being watched by everyone. The ploy? Because you needed a criteria in order to fire it off. Only one of them could have caused all this to happen. I considered who could have activated the ploys. One was missing from the vault, the doors blocking the way. When she locked it. Scattering invitations. Who to trust? 3-day weekend birthday party. The first one is wrong. Right. Our prime suspect was... are you... By prime suspect, do you... Are you referring to Suzuki? But it would be... Hmm? Shit. Fuck. Well, we've already decided it wasn't Alice. Ako's dead. Suzuki's also in. Doko dead. He's dead. Dead. Alive. Dead. Dead. Unknown? Dead. 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 I'm gonna go with my original gut that, it was you! I am the suspect. Maybe. Probably? Fuck it, we'll roll it. Was there a simpler explanation? Last survivor. What? Because I might have been wrong all along. Because I'm the last survivor. I'm sure now, because everything happened the way I decided it should. I don't want to go with the first one. The last one... If you're the last survivor, you would have already won. Number 3, because it's the most plot twisty.
私だ。
It could only be the fact that everything had gone just the way I thought was proof above all that I was Sweetheart. Sweethearts. Two plurals into one another is hard on the brain. And as Sweethearts, I wouldn't remember anything that worked against me. I had to look at this objectively. Who activated the ploy Kickshaw on the day of the party? The answer was no one. Miss Kuonji personally locked the room where she stored her ploys. No one could possibly break inside. As long as there weren't any special tricks, we could eliminate that possibility entirely. It was only logical. Therefore, if someone took the ploy, they had to have done it before today. They would have broken in before she locked the vault. Only someone who had accidentally come on the first day of the long weekend would have had the opportunity. So, why did they come on the first day by mistake? Simple. The invitation itself was wrong. A birthday party will be held at the start of the long weekend. The blockhead who wrote that on the invitations set them out to 3 people total. Of those people, Toko Ozaki probably had it all figured out, but she laughed at something she wasn't expecting, so that took care of her. Then there was Mr. Yamashiro. He'd said that he'd gotten his invitation that morning. Everyone else had received theirs before that. It's highly likely that it was delivered directly to his mailbox instead of being mailed. If Suzuki was working with the prime suspect, then they likely edited the invitation. Suzuki became an accomplice on the first day, then invited Mr. Yamashiro on the morning of the second day. That was to hide the fact that the prime suspect was accidentally invited on the first day. Mr. Yamashiro wasn't just invited to be killed, but to act as an alibi for the culprit. Then there was me. I was sure the party would be on the first day of the long weekend. Based on all this information, the only people who could have activated the ploy were me and Suzuki. I can only imagine the kind of hospitality he must have offered Kojika Kumari for suddenly showing up on the wrong day. But it wasn't unreasonable that he'd put out tea and snacks for a fellow schoolmate. Problem is, where did Suzuki obtain those snacks from?
ああ、気づいちゃったか。もう少しで私の勝ちだったのに、あの子も予想以上にうまくやっていたんだけ
So
どな。
my gut feeling in the beginning was right. I just didn't have the proper, prerequisite selections done. Nice, awesome. Love it. Just then, from the mansion, another me appeared from the mansion, the one who had been Suzuki chasing me. Nice outfit.
あんたがスイーツハーツ？
I got up off my knees to face my other self. She nodded yes, admitting defeat.
そういうあなたもスイーツハーツだけどね。私は彼に化けていた方で、あなたは彼女に化けていた方。でもあなたはクマリコジカと完全に同じだから、スイーツハーツとしての記憶を持ってるのは私だけだけど。あっそ。じゃあ消えて。これでゲームクリアでしょ。もうじき完全に日が昇るわ。
I got a lot of editing to do.
いいの？クリアしちゃって。このままならあなたの勝ちなのに。勝者の報酬は惜しくないの？
Not particularly.
何それ？聞いてない。どういうこと？クマリコジカが私を食べるとき、何を願って、何を迷っていたかって話。終わりたくない。もっと今が、この半熟卵みたいな曖昧な生活が続けばいいと思ったでしょ？
Well, I mean, who doesn't?
なんで高校生活は3年だけなのか。どうして自分はあんな無駄な時間を過ごしたのか。なんで素直になれなかったのか。そういうの全部ひっくるめて叶えてあげるのが私。願掛け卵思春期限定女の子限定のプロイキッシャースイーツハーツなの。どう？納得いった？納得なんていくわけないでしょ。脳書きはいいし何があったかなんて知りたくもないから。もうおしゃべりはたくさん。ノータイムでリセットよ。あんたはここで。だって私の使用条件は片思。
At the end of the day,
消えて。犯人はしずき。使用者は私。クマリコジカよ。
shoot.
女の子にあるまじき。
Now you gotta deal with that stuff yourself. Can't fucking push it on to like a magic item. That's cheating. There wasn't anything left to wish for now that Tsukiji was dead. Wakey wakey, everyone! I woke up to find myself on a wooden floor.
あれ、私なんでこんなところに？
I slowly picked myself up. This was the hall of the Kuonji estate. The grandfather clock told me it was almost 7 in the morning. At the edge of the foyer was a woman dressed like a nun, collapsed on the floor like me. Oh, she was just asleep. Must have been one hell of a rager if fucking everyone's passed out on the ground. The mansion was quiet, but I could hear several noises if I strained my ears. There was the clinking of kitchenware, footsteps down the corridors, old doors creaking, and...
おい、どうなってんだこれは。なんで俺らクオンジの家で寝てんだ。起きろ木の実、話聞かせろ。
Someone spiked the punch! A familiar voice echoed from the second floor. Somehow, the tightness in my chest lightened, and I stood up. To be honest, I was relieved. I glanced down and saw something like an eggshell and a note. There were just a few words of the note, scribbled in pink crayon.
恋に生きたっていいんじゃないは
Stupid sweet brain. Even after you're dead, you're still a pain in the ass. Besides, I was too passive to do that. That's how I fell into your trap to begin with.
だよね
Sweetheart's tone was lively, yet strangely encouraging. Cracks began forming in the eggshell, and then it crumbled. Taking everything, even my memories, with it.
あれなんかあった気がするんだけど
Don't worry about it. I picked up the note in front of me and frowned at it. Irritated by the presumptuous, obnoxious scribbling, I crumpled it up and, after a moment's hesitation, stowed it in my pocket.
お、クマリも来てるじゃねえか。どうなってんだこりゃ。パーティーの開始、午前中に変更したのか。
There was a commotion coming from the stairs. Plus, the face of a guy I hadn't heard was coming. I quickly turned away and checked myself in a nearby mirror. Good. Nothing too out of place.
どうなってるか聞きたいのはこっちの方よ。クオンジさんの誕生会って本当に今日なの？招待状の日付間違えてたんじゃってあれ
Where was this deja vu coming from? Must have been my imagination. It's awfully rare to have a birthday party out at the Kuonji estate. Our high school days were numbered. The season would be over before we knew it. I had to make sure I finished it with no regrets.
お、小鹿じゃん。お前も呼ばれたわけ？アリスちゃんと面識あったのかよ。
Friend of a friend.
そりゃあるわよ。青崎と友達やってれば。てか少しは落ち着けホウスケ。あんたガキの頃から成長ないんだから。
おうおう、さすが幼なじみ。仲がいいことで。
Is that really what you'd call this little group?
その調子で木の実をしつけてやれよ、くまり。周りと何より本人のためになるぜ。
いや、奥積まれたってお断り。労働と報酬が釣り合わないし、私無駄骨折ってる時間ないし。こいつ叩いても叩いても元通りになる形状記憶合金だし。
ちげえね。じゃあまあ、こいつはほっといて、クオンジに挨拶に行くか。青崎とクオンジは今かね。
その前にあそこ、シスターが倒れてるぜてんか。
Just leave her.
俺が抱き起こしちゃっていいかな。
いいんじゃねえの。最悪、てめえが乗されるだけだし。
Tsukishi sounded like he was enjoying himself. His traveled... What? His what traveled? His voice, laugh, his something traveled through the hall. Dust particles flitted in the air, appearing and disappearing in the rays coming from the skylight.
まあそういうオチもいいっちゃいいか。
An oddly cheerful voice summed up my honest thoughts. The mad rhapsody drew to a close. She smiled in her own way, each to their own. Everyone had a choice, to lament the little time one had left, or to gamble on it. Perhaps we find things beautiful because they don't last. Someday, this would all end, but not just yet. This jolly tale was simply another book to add to the shelf. Youth is both fleeting and never-ending. The stories of young boys and girls are full of hardships yet unseen. Which means, my friends, we shall no doubt meet again. Thanks, narrator. Woo! We did it! Side story done. With that, everything should be done. Ozaki, told you so. Alice, Sleeping Beauty, Sodoro leaves unexpectedly. Tsukiji, gone like the wind. Hosuke, bomb victim. Fumidutsuka, Stormy Night Tragedy, Susei, Electric Chair, leads due to petrification, sleeping like a pharaoh, Goodbye Kittyland, Too Careless, Bros and Dad, Kamaris, Blackhawk somehow survived. Oh, good, they did! McCoy, Bob, and Strange, good to them. I was about to say, like, Cosmos Murder? Editing, thanks, Robin. Cooperation, taken from which on the Holy Night filming location. Nice. Nice little story. I'm gonna skip forward. Finn. For real this time. Maybe. That should be the last. Oh god, there's one more. One fucking more. You kidding me? You're fucking my ass. Ah! Teach us, Alice. Teach us about boys. You're gonna cause an avalanche like that. Roar, the Great Three.
この蒼天に浮かれてついタイトルコールを叫んでしまったっす。しかし指定場所に来たもののアリスさんの姿はなし。時間
いいえ、その必要はないわ。私は昨日からビバーク中なのだから。
Oh, it's like Spider-Man for the PlayStation 2, the first one, the Sam Raimi one, where your webs don't have to connect to anything and you can just like web swing above the skyline.
アマチュアバード。
ピッキュル。
山を甘く見ないことよ。渡り鳥が山越えをするとき、何割かは越えられずに脱落死する話を知らないのかしら。油断すれば即デッド。隙あらばこれキリング。それが
Yeah, I almost broke my leg up in the mountains alone.
の礼儀と知りなさい。
I would have been able, I was still like close to the trail, so even if I did like break my hip like I almost did, I would have been able to crawl back to my car over the course of like a day and a half. But I was brought supplies to camp out for like 2 days, so even if I had to sleep in the ditch, I would have been fine. As I like on like my one knee and on my stomach crawled back down a mountain.
つまりいつもと何も変わらないってことっすね。
I don't know what that means.
繰り返すわ。山と私を甘く見ないで。今日はいつもの2倍はやる気に満ちている。
やっべえ、なんかスイッチ入ってるっす。
さあ、なぜなにプロイの時間よ、ロビン。今日は気分がいいから、とっておきの話をするとしましょう。
Yeah, tell us about your big strong ploys.
ああ、ついに来たっすね。三大プロイグレート3について。アリスさんの母上の、そのまた母上の、そのまた母上の。とにかく初代っすね。初代の頃から伝わってきた3つの奇跡。
Back when magic was more magical.
それが三大プロイ。初めの魔女が作ったとされる偉大な賛否。橋の巨人テムズトロル。月の油フラットスナーク。3つ目はあれ何だったっす？
最後の一体はまだ秘密よ。
Oh, okay.
今回はテムズの話をしましょう。
Name Bridge Giant components varies with version, original form, figurine of a lady. Manifestation size suppression varies with summoning site. Weakness can only be summoned near a river, no matter the golem's size. It will cease to function if its original form is broken.
日本語訳されて音楽の教材にもなっているから。
Yeah, but there's a lot more verses that usually get left out.
別名ってオチトラルっす。こいつザク相手にしか活躍してないっすよね。
相手が悪かったのよ。それに私との相性も悪いし。実は私テムズをうまく使えないの。私が権限させられるのは2段階目まで。3番目と4番目の歌詞は未知の領域よ。
God, what is it? It's like sticks and stones, brick and clay, silver and gold, iron and steel.
3番目と4番目って何すか？
ロンドン橋の歌詞よ。
Yeah,
木と土は流される。
wooden cake.
レンガ
Wait,
とモル
brick
タ
and
ルは
mortar. I
崩
was
れてし
close.
まう。
There's probably different versions.
鉄と鋼は折れ曲がる。銀と金は盗まれる。テムズはロンドン橋のプロイだけど、時代に沿ってそのあり方を変えてきた。だから今はマザーグース通り4種類の姿がある。
ウッド、ストーンの他にまだ先があるんすね。でもいいっす
It's a little
か？
bonus chapter.
こ
It
んな
doesn't
簡
matter.
単に奥の手を晒しちゃって。
ええ、ロンドン橋の歌詞なんて今時調べれば誰だってわかるのだし。
They're on YouTube, and you'll find fucking black butler people in the comments.
そもそも私どうあってもストーンまでしか使えないわ。ネタをばらして
Which
も
is sign you
支障は
should
ないでしょ。
Don't be around black butler fans.
どうして使えないんすか？
私人間の文明社会に興味がないもの。私の心象世界にある橋は木と石までということね。
なんと無敵のアリスさんにも弱点があったんすね。あ、いや
What, like touch a cell phone to her face and she'll
じゃ
burn?
なかったっすね。アリスさん負け星の方が多いっす。自分と恐ろす。でも風の噂によるとテムズトロルは世界屈指のゴーレムと聞いたっすよ。最高級のテムズトロルはどれくらい強いんすか？
そうね。テムズを最後まで建築できる魔女がもし現代にいるのなら、そのテムズは奥の手を出し切った青子でも倒しきれない。踏
So,
破不可能の橋に
under the right conditions, it's absurdly broken.
産業革命時のスモッグ都市ロンドン。その異名を上回る都市の巨人として権限するのだから。
へへへ、また大きく出たっすね。トシっすか。口だけなら何とでも言えるってやつっす。ハリスさん、その見えっ張りで負けず嫌いなところ直した方がいいっすよ。親愛なるプロイからの
Oh
涙
yeah,
の忠告っす。
best buddy right here.
ありがとう。それじゃあ早速性格改善に付き合ってもらおうかしら。まずは口だけならというところから。出番よテムズ、あなたの力を見せてあげなさい。
出落ち出たーというか、すでに出落ちの体の上だったっす。初めから自分に逃げ場はなかったっす。
Where's the river?
そうよ。だから言ったでしょ。山をなめるな。
いや、そういう意味じゃなかった気がするっす。
Unless you want to count a glacier as technically being a river of like slowly moving ice. All right, Flat Snark. What a fantastic one to end off on. Yeah. SD Alco. Magic Castle in the Mist, Flat Snark.
この映画字幕が出てないっすね。自分ちゃんとセリフあるんすけど。
知ってるわ。でも耳障りだったから。私権限で編集さんにあなたのセリフだけカットしてもらったの。
グレイト。もう何もかもアリスさん中心なんすね。自分だけ
What？
サイレント映画の気分っす。2体目っすね。
2
Yes.
体目ね。誤解されそうだから言っておくと、スナークの本体は液体よ。
Gross.
スナークの2つな月の油っすね。フラットスナークの名前は誰がつけたんすか？
あなたもよく知っている彼女だけど、私彼女と仲良くなるまでプロ
Dear
に名
Mama.
前をつけていなかったから。 強い順とか思い入れがある順に1番2番と呼んでいただけだった。
順番？番号じゃなくて？名前をつけないぐうたら。いや、シンプルさはアリスさんらしいっすけど、なんで順番？
Why not?
だって番号をつけても混乱するだけでしょ。どれが強いかどれが好きかなんて日によって変わるのだし。だから気持ち次第でその日ごとに順番は違ったわ。1番はディドルが鉄板、レムズは大抵3番か4番だったわね。
Really use diddle, huh?
ああ、思い出
They
し
seem to annoy you a lot.
た。彼女とプロイで遊んでいる時、それで困ったことになって。
アリス、明日新しいパパがやってくるの。だから6番のプロイを貸してちょうだい。私おめかしして出迎えたいの。
そういった彼女に私その日は気分的にこれは6番目と決めていたプロイを貸したわ。
もう大体分かったっすけど、一応聞いておくっす。それは何のプロイだったっすか？
後に彼女がゴブリンフロンと名付けるようになった香水よ。その香水をかけると一日悪口とスラングしか言えなくなるの。
These magic items suck.
その後彼女はプロイに名前をつけるよう提案してきたわ。なぜか涙で赤くなった目で。これはスイーツハーツ、これはスクリプスハンプティ、これはディドルディドル、これはフラットスナーク。いい？これからはこの名前で統一するのよ。
Thanks, Riddle.
名は体を表すというでしょう。私そんな変換間違いのような名前よりその日の気分で分けた方が楽でいいと思ったのだけど、あんたの気分なんて他人には分かんないし、その度に私の運命が狂っていくことをもうちょっと気にしてちょうだい。それに近い将来こういう名前がトレンドになる時代が来るから、
You
絶
gonna
対
learn about flat snark
すぐに
or
飽きられるだろうけど。なんでどうせつけるなら生かした方がグッドでバッ
oh
ド。
yeah, nothing's more trendy
せ
than
っかく
Mother
私たち
Goose.
だけのオリジナリティなのよ。ほそれ以来私はプロイを名前で呼ぶようになった。いちいち名前を覚える手間はあったけれど、プロイを間違えることはなくなったわ。まさにコロンブスの卵ね。なんていう発想の柔軟さ、
Incredible.
斬新さかしら。
そうっすね。自分も思うんすけど、アリスさんって時々すごくバカですよね。
Oh,
やられてしまったわね。
油菜だけによく燃えるっすね。スナークはどんなプロにな
one
るん
with
す
a lot of
か？
personality, it seemed.
本編で大体のあらましは語っているわ。細かなデータは
Name: Oil the Moon, original form oil, component said to be the belly fat from a Nordic god dating back to the Age of Gods. Manifestation: oil floating like a membrane over the night. Hides its true form with clouds and fog. Weakness: fire.
その貴重な油を青子さんは燃やしてしまったと。これなんとか戻せないんすか？
They don't.
残念ながら不可能よ。この時代ではスナークを生成することはできない。
こうして貴重な文化遺産はフィーリングだけで生きている野蛮人に壊されていくんすね。文明を蹂躙するのって面白い。
Mm-hmm. The past has to give way for the new.
しかし出落ちに続いてスナークもこのざまとか。何がグレート3っすか？甘え。グレート3は甘え。しかし自分やるプロイスから参拝を有効利用するっすよ。あーい、外の店員さん、この残った油でとりあえずフライドポテトでもあげてくれ。
あら、
Those
あ
be
な
some
たにして
nasty
は名案
fries.
ね、ロビン。それじゃあ私はフライドチキンにしてもらおうかしら。
外のメニューホットドッグとポップコーンとポテトしかなかったしよ。
Yeah, and it's gonna cost you fucking $35 because you're at the
自
movies.
分映画館はまず飲食店のメニューからチェックするはずから、だいたい映画館でフライドチキンとか匂いがブライっす。他のお客さんに迷惑っす。
知っているわ。でも安心して、私お腹は空いていないから。
For fun.
ただ油で揚げてもらうだけでいいの。
へへ食事として頼むわけではないと。
You're tough. You'd recover.
高温で全身まんべんなく、毛先から毛穴まで茹で上がるのは
You know, I really
初め
wouldn't.
てなんじゃないかしら。また一つシーインコレクションが増えたわね、ロビー。
この世で一番増やしたくないレパートリーあざーす。でも世界にはまだまだ未知のシーンが隠れているっすよ。
Why do you speak the way you do, Robin?
映画はここまでのようね。同時上映のある劇場も最近は減ってきたわね。
Well,
最
yeah,
後
it'd be
に
hard to
3
watch
体目
both
の
at the
紹
same
介をした
time.
かったけど、それはまたの機会に。
One more still. Still one more.
長かった本編を楽しんでくれた皆さん、すぐ終わるようでなかなか終わらなかった番外編に付き合ってくれた皆さん、
Definitely the second one.
魔法使いの夜はこれで一旦の終了となります。続きはまたいつかどこかで
Yeah, whenever it gets a TV adaptation or whatever.
あなたの胸に輝く時に。それでは長らくのご視聴ありがとうございました。
Oh god, I can't even read that. Hey, and with that, we are done for real. And look, we even got some nice music now. Wasn't doing that before. I wonder if it's a completion bonus thing. But, with that, we are finally done here. And once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching and sticking with it until the end, if you actually did. Or unless you're one of those people who just here for the bonus chapter, in which case, that's fine too. Hello and goodbye. But maybe not goodbye forever. Just goodbye for now. Because don't forget to go down and like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and watch all my other videos and make like 20 burner accounts and like and subscribe with those too. You know, bump up those analytics and post dumb shit in the comments that I can interact with. So that way the the algorithm likes me more. I got nothing else to say. I've said it all. Bye. Go do something else with your days. Go be productive, you know. Quit fucking sitting around on YouTube. Go make something of your life. Bye.